Yes, man. Welcome. We're back. Sean and Cass.
Very podcast.
Entering year 10.
Version 10.0.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are ready.
Yeah.
It's about to get weird this year.
What made you think of that? Right before we recorded, you're like, how long have we been doing this? And I was like, 10 years.
I don't know, because we're like, oh, this will be a new year, new beginning. I don't know. The obvious things.
Yeah, all the obvious stuff that everybody tells you.
I've probably said this a million times before, but I always, stronger for me than astrology, or maybe it is still connected, but is the start of a new month.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a start of a new week, start of a new month, start of a new day, but start of a new year.
Ay, ay, ay.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. It's good
Just gets
shit.
all your juices flowing.
For sure. Beginning of the new year. Join us for much more Very Ape in the Church of Chill on patreon.com/Church of Chill. We're doing a film club there. And on Monday the 6th, our first one of the year, we're discussing Paul Thomas Anderson's film Phantom Thread.
I remember when we watched that, we got a DVD screener because because of the DGA, and
I'm a fancy Directors Guild director. So they want me to vote for the Oscars, so they sent me piles of DVDs at the end of the year to try to...
I think you have to pay fees when you don't end up voting, but
Mm-hmm.
I think we know about it, or it's another thing we didn't vote on. Anyway, I remember we finished the DVD and you just were like, wow, I'm gonna play that again. And you just sat there and watched it again. And I was like, once was enough for me. I think I'm gonna go move on with my life a little bit, but you do you.
Yeah, I am doing me. I love that movie. And
I
I haven't really seen it since then. I saw it like 3 or 4 times when it first came out, but I haven't seen it since then. So I'm about to revisit it in the next few days, and then we'll talk about it on Monday night.
No, but I haven't. That's the one and only time I've seen you be that impacted.
Oh my Lord, it made me cry uncontrollably.
I think there is also something about, like, if it was a female character lead, it might have affected me differently. I don't know.
Absolutely. And I'll talk about all this in our film club, but it's impactful on a personality like mine for obvious reasons.
Yeah, no, and Noah commented on our when you posted that was our next one. He's like, "That's such a good film." So,
Yeah. It's medicine for dudes.
like you guys, yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. I had a baptism of tears this morning.
Yeah.
In my I woke up at 7:30 and I was like, let me get my day started. And then I said, but first a meditation. Like, that's what we do every day. And I fell back asleep in my meditation, which is rare. You know me, I'm an organized person. When it's time to meditate, that's not a nap, that's meditation.
Yeah.
But I fell back asleep. Lazily just like fell back asleep and awoke from a dream where you and I were and my sister Erin, who passed, we were in her room, but it wasn't her room. I don't know. It was just a space that she had inhabited, and I could feel her there. Yeah, whatever it was.
Well, now it's the office at your parents' house.
Yeah. But it wasn't that space. But anyway, I was like going through some of her stuff, and I came across a Ziploc bag with Airheads in it. Those were her favorite candy. And I started crying uncontrollably. Like, it was like the first time I ever cried. And you were consoling me. And it was just basically like, it was just like a just heartbreaking like reminder of like, oh, Erin wanted to live. Like, she had candy. She had stuff. Like, she had little pleasures that she wanted to get back to, and she had them stashed away and stuff. And very, I normally don't remember my dreams. I think normally because I wake up from them and I meditate and I process all that, but like I fell back asleep and I had a dream I could remember, and it was very sad, but it helped move a lot of energy.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad I consoled you in your dream.
Oh yeah.
Go astral me.
You're the best.
Thanks for being there for Sean. But yeah, then you're telling me this story, but like you're straight faced, and I'm like,
you were crying.
Well, I'm crying because the thing that you said, like, oh, I found this candy that Erin still wanted to join and enjoy, and then you just think about all the things that we do with your family that Erin would enjoy being there for, and I believe on some level she is there for. But like,
Yeah.
that emotion that was bringing you such to tears, like, is still accessible here, but maybe
It's in fact something I'm probably having to ignore all the time.
yeah, and
Because it's heavy. It's so heavy that it can't be omnipresent. It can't be. So I have to enjoy the moments. But like I tapped into a little bit of like the just acute sadness I think that my mom deals with a lot. And I was like, whew, it's a very heavy feeling, you know.
yeah, no, there's obviously a lot of grief there, but I mean, I get it's good. It seems like you felt cathartic release, but
Yeah.
it almost makes me not sad. I don't think sad's the right word, but like I think I cry a little bit more easily. Like, and it is
A lot more.
a lot more easily. Like, I will
Yeah.
probably cry today, if I haven't already. I am on my period, so that helps.
That
But
does help.
no, but there is a healing quality of like moving
Yeah.
that energy out of your body through
Yeah.
tears. Like, you shouldn't, if the tears come, go for them.
Get the poison out of your system.
Go for it, man.
I mean, it's got to be some sort of hormonal release and shift, and yeah, it's very cathartic. I you know, like I wish I had more access to it, but at the same time, it's just like, yeah, there's plenty of time. I'll probably, I'll make up for it at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has to do with the circumstances and just, I don't know. But that being said, I was crying yesterday in my regular life. I didn't even tell you this, but something on Reddit caught me off guard. Did you see this? I'm acting like anyone sees the same thing anymore.
We share a Reddit account.
We share a Reddit account, but I still don't think we necessarily like see the same things.
I don't really look at Reddit anymore as much.
Right.
Okay, like look.
Once a day for 3 hours, I look at Reddit.
Stop. No, I don't.
But I was on there, and it was like this dude my dad's age, and his kid was giving him a Christmas present, and it was just like a stack of LPs that were like just like loosely wrapped in a thing. And he's like, "Oh, what are these?" And he's like, "Oh, the Eagles." And like, he's kind of like, "Cool, like I just got a record player. I'm psyched to get these records, but like, why these and this and that?" And his daughter's like, "Do you know what those are?" And he's like, "No." And she's like, Those were Ron's records, and it was like his best friend that had died 40 years earlier. And he just died. He just like started holding the records and like slumped over and started crying. It got me.
You're getting me right now.
Yeah, I know. I
Um,
know.
yeah. Wow. That's really sweet. Like, it went from like, oh, these are just some records to like meaning
Like
everything.
like he started hugging them, like he got to hug his friend again. Like, these are the records we listened to together. These are literally the records we sat there listening to together. I thought that was so cool.
I think a lot of our life is like pushing down the material realm, like, oh, the material realm, like, don't focus on it. But it's almost like there's a gift of like the energy that can be transmuted by things that you cherish.
Oh yeah.
And that's like where it's like, I don't think the answer is necessarily to push away the material realm, but to like give it such reverence that you wouldn't throw something away easily or buy something that wouldn't last.
Absolutely.
Or, that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I literally just, I've been knitting these washcloths, and my mom, when I was visiting her, she was like, Grandma used to knit those. And she's like, I don't know, I don't have any of them, I can't find them or whatever. And then I came over to my dad's and I showed him the washcloth. He's like, oh, we have one of those. And he pulls one out, and it's my grandma's washcloth, So it's like we still have this thing she knit forever ago, and like spent time weaving in. There's something really, it was cool about that.
Well, like there was just a study done about like all the chemicals that get released. It's like 1,000 times more when you're in front of an original painting as opposed to a reprint.
I did see that too.
You saw that one?
Yeah, I saw
Isn't that cool?
That's I sent it to you. That's why I saw it.
I mean, that means that there's spirit, that there's spirit imbued to it in it, and it's a beautiful thing to honor. And I think that there's a lot of spirit in things in the 3D world. I mean, you don't want to make those things your boss, but you do want to treat them with reverence. This thing, we're sitting on this couch with this brown blanket that was a gift from our editor Kathy because we made some commercials for Google about like, hey, here's how people, use our fucking Google or whatever. So we did, one of them was like this thing about this woman that had a yarn store, and she just sits around knitting all the time. And I totally took it for granted at the time. I really fell in love with this woman, and we really bonded. But I took for granted what knitting was and everything. And Kathy got me this. The woman that we profiled knitted this. And I took it for granted for years until I realized what went into it. And then you're like, Jesus Christ. Did she really? Like, this
and
is
Kathy like picked out
like
a hard pattern.
Holy shit.
And also, like, I think as we've gotten, I think everyone's awareness is coming to, like, you really want natural fibers.
Yeah.
And
of course, all that stuff.
But that kind of.
But how nice was it that these two women collaborated to get something so nice for like a fuckhead 33-year-old dude who's now 43 and like, oh my God, this was like, it was like a ticking time bomb of gratitude and I can still feel what went into this, and it's so cool. It helps tap me into spirit. And it helps tap me into something I want to tap our audience into when they watch this, when they hear us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting, like, around Christmas, because I like to, like, make gifts and stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, also just being like, all right, maybe kids know better what they can get for themselves. Because there is, like, this thing where you, like, could make something for someone, but if they're not ready to appreciate it, it's, like, silly. You know what I mean? But there's so many gifts that I've gotten in my life that I don't appreciate till like 10 years later.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I have this thing,
It's so cool.
My godfather has like a crazy eye, and he like finds steals everywhere, but like can see you, and it's like, that's a 500-year-old piece of Chinese pottery from the Ming era or whatever. He just like knows about little things. And
he's setting you up. He gives you this stuff for when you mature to a certain level, and then you're like, oh my God, you gave me this?
Yeah, I have like a pin that has like a piece of tile on it that's like, I mean, so I it's kind of like how I can't perceive $1 billion. It's like that kind of old.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so cool. There are things to behold in the 3D realm.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, it's stuff that people put thought and effort into, and it's art. This blanket is art, but it's also like very functional, You get to squeeze it and touch it and like use it, and it can keep you warm. But it's art.
Yeah.
Isn't that so cool? Yeah.
No, special.
I'm going into this year, I think, because of 2024 and everything that took place, with a renewed sense of awe and wonderment.
And when you say what took place, you mean like in the globally or personally?
Personally, I don't give a shit. What happened globally is a bunch of things that happen to people personally. I don't know. I'm just talking about what we went through.
Okay, yeah.
When we traveled around and tapped into wild magic. Put your mic a little closer.
Okay.
I want to be able to hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, so I feel like we prayed to the angels to tap us into a vibration that we hoped existed, that we've kind of felt as we've done our thing, and they tapped us into it hardcore. And just because this project is wrapping, I don't want that to go away, so I'm setting it as an intention, straight up. The wild magic don't stop.
And that's a really good intention.
It surrounds and abounds. That's just the way it is. Some things will never change. But you can fill your psyche with lies that just start to cover it.
Well, it was fun. We had a little girls' dinner the other night. Well, I consider you a girl, but it was like...
I was being one of the girls.
You were being one of the girls, and we're just going...
I actually wasn't being one of the girls, because these girls get so inappropriate. It's crazy. If I met them on that level, they'd be like, hey, girls only. So I was kind of just being one of the guys.
You were a respectful guy. The girls get crazy.
Y'all will so casually drop into like the craziest, most personal details ever, and I'm like, oh, like I dig that, but
yeah, that's what girls. You got a little preview into like what girls' time is like.
Whoa.
It's such girls' time to me. I didn't even think of it as significant.
Yeah. Anyway, what were you going to
That's
say
funny.
about our
I'm
little
curious.
girls' night?
I'm curious about what caught you off guard, but no, we were going around telling little magic moments of like
Yeah.
when angels came to us or when we were the angel for someone else, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of like travel's like a good. I feel like people have said this to me before, but like that travel's like a good time to like meeting a lot of different people in the path.
Mm. Yeah.
You can almost tap in differently.
Yeah.
But our friend was telling us like this story of how, someone like returned her credit card that she had dropped, and like like just the chances that he saw her drop that credit card and that she wasn't alone, and like all this stuff, and then how she helped someone not get pickpocketed, and like it all coming back around, and it's
Mhm.
just like I think it's a good time. I appreciate the days and the times that we say not only thank our angels of the today, but like you can thank your past angels and tell their stories, because
Yeah.
they can give you a really great story.
Yeah. When you pay attention to the magic and when you pay attention to the angels, they love it.
Yeah.
They love it. As above, so below. If for one reason or another we find ourselves in an attention economy down here,
Mm-hmm.
don't you think that they're in some sort of attention economy, or are we projecting that onto them? Because it seems to me like when I acknowledge these fuckers, they're like, hell yeah, we're here for it. And I think what was so cool about our girls' night is like, not everyone has a podcast. Not everyone gets to be like, yo, you want to hear my weekly download of how magical things were? This shit happens to them, and it's just like they just keep moving on with their life. So to like hold space for each other, like, no, the angels want to hear this. They deserve the recognition. And it's like Natalie telling us a story that I'm like, only maybe one other person knows about this. Like I'm glad that we're giving you the excuse to tell a drawn out story. She's like, a long story. I'm like, tell the long story. Tell the details.
Well, we love this stuff.
Because we love this stuff. I think it's the stuff people and if you can become a compelling storyteller, I feel like the angels love that. We love hearing it, and so you start to work with attention. And the funny thing is about the way things are right now, it's what everyone's coming for is your attention. They want every second of it.
Yeah.
And so when you kind of steal it back and say, I'm going to focus on magical things, even if only one magical thing happens to me this year, I don't care. I'm going to focus on it. And when you get evidence of that magical thing, then you can start to see it in other things. And this is what I mean by not wanting to regress as we move on to different subject matter in our films. I really want to keep the upgrade to my spiritual life that Wild Magic provided.
Well, I think each film has given an upgrade, and if you thought about it for a second, you would recognize what it was. Like,
Yeah.
American Juggalo was so clearly the upgrade to like trust everyone, because the
Yes.
people who are the scariest are the most awesome.
Yeah.
So if the people who are the scariest are the most awesome, like that really opens your heart to what's going on in this
American
world.
Juggalo opened the world to us.
Yeah, totally.
It really did. It made us be like, well, shit, maybe we have to exclusively start listening to the people that we're trained to ignore the most.
Yeah.
And we've built a career off of that. Just listening to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you listen to enough people, you start to, narratives start to form, patterns start to form. It can't help. It can't help itself. That's what this thing does.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I see enough of those patterns and I say those belong together. Kind of like curating one of these radio shows we do.
Well, you always say when you've heard a certain amount of people say the same thing.
That's when I know we have a movie.
Yeah, because you're like, I don't have to have each person say this thing, but I could figure out who says that thing the best.
Mm-hmm.
And it really feels like that,
Yeah.
And it's like mining for gold. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
there's gold in this pan and someone's shimmering and they're poking a little gold, but like, it's kind of a cool.
Mm-hmm.
No wonder you like the edit so much.
Oh, the edit's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
You just keep shaking it. You shake it and you're like, wow, there's a lot of good stuff in here. You're like, no, let's shake it again.
Well, that's where I'm like, let's film more.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you on that. It's very tempting. But I think that's what, like, it all comes back to for us. Art is our religion. documentary is a cornerstone of our spiritual life.
It's devotional.
It's a devotional practice for
Yeah.
us, and it's not
Bhakti.
it's not some fucking ho-hum, this sounds good, this looks good on paper. Like, no, it drives us to places that we wouldn't go otherwise.
Yeah.
And it forces us to see things and people and see things in people that we wouldn't otherwise notice.
Yeah.
And it keeps us pushing, it keeps us exploring, and it keeps two pretty introverted people pushing.
No, my God, I've always said, like, I need to have a job where I'm more out in the world,
Yeah.
because exactly. Not everyone has to go make documentaries to talk to strangers. We do, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think people probably just don't talk to strangers enough.
Yeah,
Yeah. But they're only a stranger till you talk to them.
exactly.
You talk to them once. A lot of times for us, I'm like, oh, you're a dear friend. I've known you forever.
And who doesn't want to expand the number of dear friends they have in the world?
It is our retirement. It is our everything. That is, like, I think when people are anxiously focused on their future, they think watching a bank account number go up might be the key. For us, it's not. For us, it's like more friends, more places to go, more options, you know,
Totally.
more vibes, more reasons to grow. And these films have kind of paved the way and showed us how to do that, how to hold space for people that otherwise might not have that.
It's also our healthcare plan.
It is our healthcare plan.
Not like, oh, someone's going to take care of me, but like, no, like being connected to people is good for your soul and spirit and health, mental health, physical health. It's all interconnected, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. When you wake up to the fact that you're in a situation where people are trying to rip you off and poison you from every angle and trick you,
Yeah.
you really, really have to tap into your powers. And
Oh, yeah.
You really, really do. You have to figure out ways to tap into your powers, because otherwise you're going to be fucking jerked around like an asshole through this life.
Yeah.
And you're going to be constantly throwing your hands up being like, oh, how did this happen? But it happened through a series of very precise attacks on the working class over a long time. And, you know, the name of the game for the powers that be is to keep us scared, small, and willing to rent our labor for cheap. So once you realize that's the name of the game and that they're not looking out for you and really no one is but you can start to take the power back in a really cool way. And I know we talk about this stuff all the time, but it's just good to start the year with a little reminder.
10.0.
Yeah.
Wake up class consciousness.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't know, just waking up to the things that are holding you back. And yeah, for a lot of people, maybe it is your diet. Maybe it is the way you treat your temple. Maybe it is allowing fucking nicotine or sugar or some other fucking asshole chemical ruin your fucking temple so you can barely receive consciousness in the way that humans are meant to be. We're just fucking totally bombarding our bodies with the worst shit. And we're confused as to why we're anxious and unhappy and unable to be in the moment. And all I'm saying is that those feelings happen very much by design. So how do you take the power back? How do you take the power back?
Hopefully someone makes another YouTube.
Yeah, I guess.
You never know who you're going to seed an idea with. And I just thought of like that as being something that is important.
I hope someone's working on that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it figures, you know, like we start to get a good amount of subscribers on YouTube, and it's like, fuck, this thing sucks.
I'm not even trying to talk shit. I just know what's happening with AI and with algorithms and how very instantly things can be reduced and ideas can be squashed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
like across the board. So
Mhm.
you just know that that's inevitable, and it kind of just is like, yeah, it's going to take all of us
Well,
working towards like the goal of a more connected, brighter future for the people, by the people kind of vibe.
hmm yeah. I mean, the internet used to be a place in your house that you would go. For you, you would go upstairs right here, and you had your little gateway computer, and you would click to sign on to the internet. It would, but when you signed off, you would go back into your life, and it would be free from all of that, the craziness that comes along with being interconnected.
AIM,
Yeah,
cybering.
but now it's ubiquitous,
Yeah.
and I don't think we stop and think what that's done to us enough.
Mm.
And what it's what it's I don't know, the habits that it's driving in us.
Yeah. I mean, what comes to mind for you?
I'm just saying, nearly everything about our behavior has been geared towards addiction and commandeering of not only your money but your time and attention. And when I'm saying that the internet was a small place in your house that you went to, that was 25, 30 years ago. Well, look how exponentially fast everything changes, and look how quickly it became something that we cannot possibly imagine living without for a day.
So my mom used to have friends who would like not get a cell phone,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, "They're such a luddite. Like this is like insane. Like I have to book all the travel or whatever. Like they
Yeah.
won't get a cell phone or and I don't know. I feel like people like that end up getting. Forget last laugh. I mean, there is something at one point you're like, this is a fast moving train. I don't want to get off because I'll get left behind. This is kind of the line I straddle at times.
Get left behind.
And I'm like, I know but you're really good. You're like, look, AI is a tool. We should learn how to use it.
Yeah.
You need to be that force for me because I'm just like, how do I knit it now?
But I think in order for me to even be that force, I need to be keenly aware of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Which is, I have the sample size. I'm 43. I saw from the internet not existing to it existing as a place in your house to it existing as you cannot get away from it. And it is trying to get your attention, and it's a new life force that wants your attention and time. And it seems like that you can extrapolate that and apply it to almost everything in the past 30 years. Life, like when I think about the future, I'm like, the future is addictive. That's it. It's a whole bunch of entities that are trying to get you addicted and subscribed and prescribed to their thing. And I think you have to become keenly aware of it before you dive into like, I want to become an AI expert, this and that, just of the pattern that's been playing out over time, that they want more and it's coming for you and it wants everything from you. It wants you to be a machine before you're ready to be a machine. And I think that that's why there are so many people that are feeling their humanity sucked from them and feeling very disconnected and lonely. That is real. Those feelings are real. And I think we just have to be very careful. When you realize the future is addictive, that's not like, a bad omen or whatever. That's just looking at data points saying, seems to be what this cycle's gearing towards. It's been ramping up my whole life. It's only going to get worse. Things are only going to become like all of the things that you've seen slowly happening are going to snowball. And so like, how it's harder and harder to discern, like, is this a real story? Is this a real photo? Is that a real thing?
You're just pressing refresh like you're someone at a casino.
Yeah.
That's where I've seen, I don't know, we probably microdosed at a casino because I was like, I have this imprint because
we've tripped at a casino.
Okay, because I have this imprint where I've been to a casino a million times. We went to Vegas a bunch for cam girls and stuff, but just seeing people just like staring and pushing buttons, and it's like sparkly, and
yeah.
I felt like I was in a DMT trip.
Yeah.
And you're just like refresh, like there's chemical reactions.
Refresh.
Dopamine.
Sparkles. Yes. Refresh. Sparkles. Yes.
Yeah, and it's like the perfect amount of dopamine, and that's where I really have come to with all the social media apps is like they're so much smarter than you. Like they know exactly how to keep you on there as long as possible. So if you want to pay attention to how long you're actually on there, that might be like something that you have to decide, not,
Well, it's only smarter than you if you stay on there.
What's that?
The social media is only smarter than you if you stay on there. What they haven't figured out is how to outsmart the part of us that's like, fuck you, I'm not doing this anymore. There's no getting around that yet.
Well, that's kind of just like, I don't want to see things as a battlefield, but addiction is like, you can maybe just let go of the fight. But basically what I was trying to say is, it does feel like a final form we're headed to. Just like whether they're extracting money from us, our time or our attention, there is an extraction
our
happening.
Joy.
Yeah.
I my homie Jake was just writing to me this today, being like, dude, how do you deal with parents that like won't get off of it with like the Chicken Little energy? The sky's falling constantly. And I'm like, hey man, tell me if you figure something out, because it is a crazy thing to do battle with. And it enrages me to know that there's corporate entities that have designed a product that was there to extract joy from the people that were still watching cable. That they're designed a product that they make feel important, make feel very prescient, and is addictive, and it's there to completely hijack your nervous system and extract joy from your life, bring you into the fear brain, and then advertise to you solutions for all of the shit that they just imparted on you. He's like, how do you deal with this? And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't. I try to hold space in the new paradigm, but I'm one against a corporate entity. Not only just a corporate entity, an industry designed to keep our parents scared, because that's how they know they're going to loosen up the trillions that the boomers are sitting on. It get them scared.
They're not good patients when they're not sick, and the clients when they're not unhappy or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's...
It
is feel like addiction's the final form.
It is.
In some way.
Well, it's something I think we're all going to do battle with. If we're not already, we're going to do battle with.
You know what?
It's from not having a spiritual center.
I think you're doing some more research on this, but it seems like someone was sharing information with you about vitamin D. And I thought that was really interesting because once you know one thing, like after, seeing the JFK movie, I'm like, oh, it just like cracks you in a certain way where you're like, oh, the good guys aren't the good guys.
Genie's out of the bottle.
You can't, like, my consciousness is just like cracked to the point where there's a fissure that I like do not trust our government. Like, I don't know.
You're like, the government conspired to kill JFK. They did it. They had multiple attempts and they did it because he didn't want war with Cuba or Russia. He didn't want war with Vietnam. What? Our government conspired to kill this person? And once you realize, you're like, oh, even if we elected somebody who's anti-war, the war machine is so powerful they'll take them out. It kind of it's opening Pandora's box. It's like, oh, they can't be trusted. They can't be trusted about anything. What else have they lied to us about? Well, it's easier. What have they not lied to us about? Nothing. Okay. Duly noted. But yeah, the thing about vitamin D was like, it was first discovered in 1912 and synthesized in like 1918. And it was this incredible medical breakthrough because basically people that had rickets, like bow-leggedness, they were finding that people that spent more time outdoors in the sun weren't contracting rickets. So they're like, let's hit people with rickets with the vitamin D. And they realized very quickly, not only does it prevent rickets, it prevents so many other diseases, discomforts, and disorders. To just add my own little alliteration. But so quickly this creates a health crisis, as we would call it, because all of a sudden the hospitals were empty and doctors were looking around and being like, I don't have as many patients. What's going on? Because everyone's out there taking 20 milligrams of vitamin D every day. Like, this was a phenomenon. And so quickly the AMA and the FDA conspired on behalf of whatever big pharma was back then to basically play a trick on the public to get them to not take vitamin D. By basically, they took like 7 med students and hit them with an amount of vitamin D that would like kill an elephant. And they're like, they made an example out of these 7 students, and they say, look, this stuff's toxic. It could be really harmful. And they ripped it off the shelves. And then eventually, I can't remember what president had to step in and say, we need to commission a real study. And they commissioned a real study, and they were like, yeah, it's true. This stuff is fucking miraculous healer. Everyone should be taking this every day in large quantities. And so on the heels of that study, the FDA and the AMA is kind of stuck in a tough spot here. So they just played a little, they played a little numerology magic trick on the public and started saying, instead of 20 milligrams, they said, this is 10 million IUs per blah, blah, blah. They just hit you with numbers that you're like, oh, that sounds scary. I'm not taking that. And just basically just washed it away as something that anyone considered.
Wow.
Crazy. This is 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was very conveniently scrubbed from most conversations around COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. You just realize stuff like that, and you're like, "Oh, cool. All right, nobody has our back."
If anything, the opposite. So
yeah. So let me
People
start.
are so scared right now of like the FDA. I'm like, what integrity do you think the FDA has?
What are you kidding me? They just crushed MDMA. Was about to be legal for therapeutic use, and they crushed it and sent it back underground.
That is not to say I do believe that there should be representative forces that protect people, product, like making sure kids don't get poisoned and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and there is an element of that does take place. And for every good, I get there's an equal bad. You know, like I do think that there's good things about making sure car seats are tested and
of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm all about regulation and oversight and enforcing when fucking companies. It's just not what we use our law enforcement resources for.
Yeah.
We use our law enforcement resources to fuck with people that are already the most destitute, desperate people in our society. We don't use our law enforcement institutions to go after companies that have been suppressing information, companies that have been lying to us, companies that have been poisoning us, poisoning our water, poisoning our air, our dirt, our natural resources. We don't prosecute or go after those people. So that in fact incentivizes them to run wild and use generations of Americans as the canary in the coal mine for the whole fucking world to see how much sugar and processed shit the human body can handle.
Yeah.
And by the way, we won't give them the health care because we can't afford to, because we've poisoned these fucking people so badly that they can't, that we couldn't possibly pay for their recovery.
Okay, I had a little bit of...
Isn't that insane?
Okay, I'm a little high, so I'm not sure I fully absorbed everything you said.
I don't care.
But was thinking of something else at the same time, so I apologize to be a tangent person. But it was making me think about the holidays. Something you said about sugar makes me think about around the holidays. Like, I always think, oh, we get together with family and therefore people get sick. But... like,
oh, let's limit exposure to the people we love the most. Because we don't want to get sick.
But ever
or
since...
is it?
I've become more aware that 75 milligrams of sugar, which I think there's like 50 milligrams in some like sugary coffee drink.
More, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
All it takes is 75 milligrams to destroy your fucking immune system.
I think it's 75 grams. 75 grams. Whatever. However they do sugar. This is how much I don't pay attention to sugar. But I'm just like, it has sugar in it? No. But there's a certain amount that like weakens your immune system tremendously. And what happens around the holidays? We all binge, and I did it myself.
Yeah.
On the sweetest things we can find because we want a little treat around the holidays.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's nice to have a little treat around the holidays,
Yeah.
you know? And like for a lot of people, that is where their joy comes from. And I fucking get it. You know,
I
I
was all
extract
about
a
it.
lot of joy from that shit too.
We've
I
been
get
making
it.
ice cream.
Yeah, yeah. We have been. Or I haven't. I've eaten it a few times. I totally get it, but you know, I think that's part of what makes the holidays so hard. You know, like I really noticed it. It's like it's a low-lying hum that it takes a lot of slowing down to tap into. But I'm like, this holiday makes men miserable. The holiday season makes men miserable. They're not openly talking about it as much as they should, and it might apply to a lot of women. But I think there's a lot of pressure and a lot of just energy that gets ramped up unnecessarily. I think men don't know what to do. I think a lot of men aren't the best shoppers or gift givers. I think we're providers, but that added little something just puts a layer of pressure on life that is like, yo, everyone is so already having such a hard time getting by. And then we put all this pressure on people, and there's a certain personality type that fucking flourishes this time of year, and it gets activated, and they're like, let's fucking go, holiday season. And everyone else has to kind of bow to that energy this time of year. And a lot of people's like sensitivities just get fucking crushed. And what do? You turn towards alcohol, you turn towards pills, you turn towards little sweet little chocolates and the rest of the thing. And what does that stuff do? It makes you feel like fucking shit. So you come out of the other end of this, the time of the year when you're getting the least amount of vitamin D, the least amount of sunlight, it's cold, it's, you know, there's less excuses for getting together.
Your wife's distracted.
Your wife's like, your wife fucking sucks.
She's running
Let's just
around
be
like a
real.
mad woman.
She's just fucking running around, yelling, putting pressure on you, trying to uphold traditions, like all of this
Meanwhile, women are like, we're channeling our creativity and service to the family to create a magical experience for everyone involved, and everything that you see on Christmas will be because we made it magical.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, and that's great. And I appreciate all that. And I think it does a lot of good for a lot of people, but I think a lot of motherfuckers get crushed in that energy and don't really get to like kind of stick their head up for air until after the new year. And like you're saying, you're on the heels of just fucking bombarding your system with the worst food ever. And your gut biome is like trying to fucking rebuild itself. And I can just, I can see the circumstances of why people think they have seasonal affective blah, 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 when really it's like, let's cut the fucking sugar. Let's like up your vitamin D. Let's get a couple sweats going, get together with the boys or the girls, whatever, sing a little bit, talk about masturbation, whatever you guys do.
Stop. Putting your feet in the ground. I think we missed that too. I did that yesterday. It was like 50-something degrees. I still have to do it today.
I stood out there in the moss the first thing I did this morning. I got up and I stared at the sun and stood in the moss. And I said, please, just heal me. Help me have a great start to this year.
You're not staring at the sun, right?
With my eyes closed. I just give it a little
kiss,
and then I look off to the side.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, sometimes you scare me. Yeah, there's a couple of things. I mean, a lot of family drama can come up around the holidays. A lot of weird events have happened in your life around holidays. Like, there is a thing. Yeah. Also, family coming together, tensions rise. Family members drinking, tensions rise. Like, there's a lot of...
It's the worst.
Tension that can rise.
It's triggering.
That's triggering. I see it with you. I'm maybe not as sensitive because I'm worrying about everyone else and making sure you check the list and stuff. So
all of my discipline throughout the year, it never wanes. Why do I have discipline? To create a sense, even if it's false, of stability.
During the holidays.
No, in my day-to-day life. Around the holidays, no one fucking gives a fuck. And it's like all in service to this, for lack of a better word, keeping up with the Joneses type of energy. And I'm like, who started this? Who set the bar this high? What is all this fucking live, laugh, love bullshit fucking energy that has most women who are good at it acting like fucking assholes till like Christmas morning?
Was I an asshole?
No, you're not like this. I'm just like, look around a little bit. Don't make me name names. Come on. You see how people get. Or maybe you don't notice the motherfuckers that get buried this time of year, and they're fucking depressed and they're anxious and they don't know what to do. And usually they're not the loudest voices at the table. And
No.
I'm just speaking on behalf of those motherfuckers that, like, there's a reason you feel the way you feel. You are not alone. Fucking fresh start. It's crazy that you're sitting here with energy. Like, let me hit you with a counterpoint to, hey, I get it. If you're starting this year feeling like what the fuck energy, there's a real reason. You don't want to counter that. You can say, yeah, but I'm talking to the boys out there. You know, you could talk to the girls and say, you did a great job. You kept the magic alive one more year. You know, whatever you want to do. It's great.
I think it's nice I think it's a nice thing, and I think that I think the pressure needs to be taken out in a way, because I think we've lost the Christ in Christmas or whatever the hell.
Absolutely. That's a real thing.
But all that said, did we not have a nice Christmas with your family? And wasn't that very chill?
Yeah.
And the chillest Christmas you've probably ever had in a way with the family like that.
Yeah.
It was super chill. And I think everyone, whether it's because of COVID or what it is, or not being even it's not about going all out. It's about being there together, eating some good food, having some good laughs, that's what it's about. And I think that's what we made it out about. And even with having the chillest Christmas, I think you still freaked out. And I think that, I'm sorry, I don't know how to make Christmas any more chill without making it not fun for me.
I think I get triggered by what I think of sometimes as like contradictory energy, probably because I'm so full of it that when I see it out in the world, I'm like, but like, you know what, do you know what I mean when I'm like, yo, these people that are trying so hard to set the bar high and make it nice sometimes are fucking really hard to deal with in the lead up to that. Bridezilla style. You're not one of these people. We're not even really friends with these kind of people.
Maybe I can be a little bit, because I give my attention away a little bit more to other things. And I can, at times, in the quest to please the people you love most, set a high bar for yourself. And I've set a high, where you like... Yeah. And so you see that on me. Like, I'm like, okay.
You and I both have a tendency to give it away. And, I think sometimes we come out of, like, I'd say the 6-week holiday season, and our heads are spinning, and we're like, we haven't had a conversation about who we are or what we want to do in 6 weeks. This is crazy. But, that's kind of what this first week of the year affords us, I feel like. It's like, there's not much doing, slow pressure.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of, sleepy, dreamy kind of time of year.
Yeah, I want to be like, it's chill, just channel your creativity. But when I do think about it, I start thinking about I start thinking about it now. I'm like, all right, let me start learning how to knit washcloths so I have a gift to give at the end of the year, and like,
yeah,
it's kind of a funny thing.
It is.
I think it's cute.
It is. But
that must,
you got to hear me a little bit.
I hear you.
You know what I mean?
You.
Like, everyone watching and hearing can hear you resistant to taking on what I'm trying to put out. But if you could just take on 1% of it and apply it to next year, because now we've done 2 years in a row where I'm like, hey, it's January. Let's get the fuck out of here next December. This is a nightmare. This is not fun. This is not good. I can't represent myself. We have money. What are you doing to us? Why do we have to sit in the belly of the beast to make a perfect little holiday season? I'm like, I think it's not worth it. I think I'm shaving years off my life to grin and bear it through no one else being mindful, because we're all in praise and worship to this fucking Martha Stewart bullshit fucking high bar way of living. And it's like, we can pull this shit off, like when we have an interesting, like, it's like, well, let's have a party or whatever. We can be like that here and there. But I'm telling you, a 6-week period of our life where every day waking up thinking about like, oh, I better go we didn't get enough it wasn't enough. And this is where you and I, like, we get tangled up, because I'm like, I cannot hear one more word about how we didn't do enough for my sister. Like, it's crazy.
I wouldn't.
Do you know what I mean? Like, this is where I mean, like, guys get buried, because even now you're like, yeah, whatever. But I'm like, yo, it fucking really fries me. And it just like, it feels like fucking just steers my dreamboat off to fucking some goddamn deserted island I don't want to have anything to do with.
Yes.
I'm like, we're fucking setting sail on a dreamboat, and we're gonna fucking derail it with like, well, now's the time of year where we just every day are gonna have to feel like we didn't do enough. And I'm like, I hate this. I hate this time of year. Look, you're like I said, you're not the shining example of this.
I took an iota of what you said, so thank you for sharing.
You're not the shining example.
No,
of that,
I'm not
but
even
I come
care.
from this type of
I don't even
family,
care.
so I'm like, we just got to get away from it. If that's not my energy, instead of sitting here trolling people, I should just not be around. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate what you're saying, and I appreciate you, and it's all good.
Yeah.
It's chill. Everything's chill.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen to yourself. You're like, look, we had the best Christmas ever. And I understand that you still freaked out. And I'm like, that ain't cool. That's not normal. That's not normal. And I'm doing my best.
I told you.
But I'm like, how many days can I be around people that are being so loudly selfish? You know, like how many days can I be caught in a vibration of like just blah, disposable holiday guilt, you know, like, cause I take shit on another, you know what I mean? I think you could skate through this time of year. I take shit on another level, I think on a deeper level, you know, you're just kind of like, whatever, just do it, whatever. And I'm like, yo, this is fucking my ass up.
Yeah. No, I do think there's a whole psychological thing to how different people react better and how expectations feel. And even just the idea of there being expectations, like that can crumble a man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, it's like it feels like there's no winning, and you hate a no-win situation. Where no matter like what happens,
you just hit the nail on the head. That's it. But I cannot stand. Look, it's a no-win, no-lose situation. I just I cannot stand the like. There's just no getting. There's just no like. Yeah, we did it. You know, yeah, no win is a good way of describing it. It drives me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, so it makes sense that it would drive you crazy, and that's why it's like 1 year on, 1 year off. It's like that's how couples make compromises.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
Totally. We went pretty hardcore 2 years in a row, and I'm like, yo, that 6 weeks represents a lot of days of our year that I think, let's see if we could play around with maybe in 2025 and show up on Christmas still, but not have to be Christmas from like mid-November till now.
Okay.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm just like literally in my head doing the math. Like, what did I do that I could do different? Like, where did I go wrong?
Let's get the fuck out of here. It sucks. What are we talking about? We said it like almost every day.
Okay, we have to make a movie December of next year.
Yeah, let's just get out of here. Let's just go like literally anywhere else. Like we could go like 20 minutes away. Like, you know what we did that was really fun the other night?
Yeah.
We stayed in a hotel that was a half hour from our house.
Should we talk about that on the Patreon?
Sure.
Wouldn't that make sense?
Oh yeah. I didn't even realize that I was getting into different territory. Yeah, totally. We should definitely switch it over. Yeah.
Great. Look.
We're not getting tangled up over this.
I just want to make you happy. I live to make you happy, and you tell me how I can make you happy, and I'll do it. I love you. I want
One of the ways you can make me happy.
I'm in service to you. I love you. And
likewise,
just let me know.
Likewise,
I got you.
This is why I white knuckle through my 43rd Christmas with my parents. I'm like, I can miss one, right? I would get much more praise for missing Christmas than me being there at the Perfect Boy. Just so you know how my family works.
Yeah, they'd be like, Sean's so great.
You know what was the best Christmas I ever had? When I flew in from fucking New Zealand on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And my dad picked me up and we had Christmas. Remember that? You don't.
I don't know. They blend together.
Yeah, they all blend together. But to me, I was like, perfect. I was like the golden child. I just showed up, did Christmas, and left. That was really nice. But basically, I just want to acknowledge, a faction of society that like they just can't handle this. Life's hard to handle regular. Mm-hmm. And then when everything gets ramped up, I feel like I'm tapping into something real. I think it's a lot for people because I think it's a lot for me.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of tools. And I have you. You're like the human Merkaba. You protect me from everything. And it's still like it's just too much. It's too ramped up. It's too amplified.
And I fucking handle Christmas.
You do.
And so I make it not your problem at all. So for it's me to not make it your problem at all.
Look,
and it still be your problem.
You're taking this personally.
No.
I'm trying to relate with the people.
I'm just saying, I'll do whatever you want.
I know that. Okay. Trust me, I know that. And I'll do whatever you want.
Okay.
I'm trying to acknowledge.
Yeah.
That there is a clean slate to be had. It starts today.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I guess
it's worth giving yourself a pat on the back for getting through that shit. It's fucking lame as fuck. All the cultural expectations blow out our fucking receptors, and a lot of people start the year in a dark place. And if you're hearing us and you're starting the year in a dark place, let's turn it around right now. That's it. Enough with that.
Well, I also think it's like, I think what you're getting to is like, whatever your Christmas looked like, you did enough. You showed up enough. You know what I mean? It's like,
leave it there. Let's leave that in 2024.
Yeah, but it's like, you just even, we all made it to the end of the year, and it's awesome, and we got through the holidays, and yeah, I agree. Like, I was able to give myself a lot of, like, I'm always a penchant for beating myself up around the holidays.
I know.
And I didn't do it this year because I was just like, it's all good.
You were so good.
I didn't do, see, I did it just,
you were so good.
I just rolled with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, of course I could have made the thing or done this thing or had gotten that thing. Because you have a million ideas for the people you love. Or these would be the best gift certificates. Gift certificates are better than money, blah, blah, blah. And you get all these ideas, and then you just have to let it go and just show up to Christmas however you're at.
Yeah.
And it'd all be good.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's what it's all about for me. It's like, I just want to be around the people.
Yeah, it's your presence.
Yeah.
Our buddy Daniel Sage is always like, it's your presence is a present.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's, I think showing up fully and being around the family and exchanging gratitude and love and merriment, that's the best parts of this. And I think what I'm raging against is all the consumerist shit that that murkies the water and that fucking totally drowns out motherfuckers like myself.
It's really hard.
And my dad, like he flails around for 4 weeks. Oh, no, did I get enough for you, mother? Do we need to,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think in the world of everything being plastic crap, not being excited to buy plastic crap is not.
I'm not only not excited, I'm stressed out about having to buy it or receive it. And I'm
that's
like,
why we didn't do that.
What is all this? Yeah, exactly.
We didn't do that.
We didn't do all that. We're talking, right? Like,
yeah.
You don't have to, you're not like trying to convince me to think a different way.
Did I seem like I was?
No, it seems like you're trying to like, hey, stop. And I'm like, yo, I'm just fucking venting off the holiday fucking shit, leaving it back in 2024.
I'm just sharing my perspective.
Yeah.
Because we think differently.
We definitely think differently about this because sometimes, man, this is the time of year where my voice is just on mute and it's just like, no. Expectations is our new boss. And I'm like, who's setting them? This is driving me insane. If I knew what it was about, I could do it and I want to do it and I would kill it and win it. But it's the game that moves as you play, and it's fucked up. And I think it has a lot to do with people being able to manipulate through shame, blame, fucking weird cultural consumerist expectations, and it's all fucking nonsense. We don't have to bring any of it into the new year. What the hell's that?
Sorry, it's my phone vibrating, a spam call. I didn't know it was on vibrate.
Yeah, it's all good.
I'll put it on the carpet. I really appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your perspective. I do.
Well, thank you for making it such a lovely holiday season. I look forward to having a blessed year of podcasts, celebrating our 10th year of doing we recorded our 10th episode 10 years ago today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Very cool.
It came out as the second episode, but it was the first recording. And yeah, this is when we first were like, let's do this. And I'm glad we've done it. And yeah, thanks for sticking with us. It really means the world to us when people join the Patreon.
Yeah. Thanks for being here and listening.
Patreon.com/Church of Chill. We're about to tell you about a little bit of a weird night we had.
Yeah. Yeah. Fun times.
Peace, love, and magic.
Bye.